Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds video. This time, we will be doing something a little bit different. We will be going over a few secrets and things that I really have not discussed too often on this channel regarding Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds. I do plan to do a video like this for Yu-Gi-Oh Zexal as well, in regards to a book that came out actually quite a while ago, a book that came out about 6 years ago that I just recently got my hands on, and that is Kazuki Takahashi's Duel Art Book, which I completely recommend 10 out of 10. In the back of the book, there's all great illustrations and commentary on all these illustrations that Kazuki Takahashi, the main creator of Yu-Gi-Oh, drew and illustrated, and in the back of the book there are some fun facts, and that is what we will be going over in today's video. Some new things that I just learned a few days ago as well when I purchased this book, and I thought it would actually be a really cool video to make, a cool video to share with you guys. We're going to be going over Yusei's original look, his original design. We're going to be going over a line that is talked about regarding Crow. There has been so much in regards to Crow. The common theory was that Black Wings were popular, Crow was going to be a Dark Signer boss, and he was going to be a character that stole Yusei's D-Wheel and was going to be kind of a thorn in Yusei's side throughout 5Ds. That was obviously not how 5Ds played out. That's how it was believed to have gone down for a while. But then a user on Reddit came out, and I covered this in a video, I'll link it down below if you want to check that out, came out and said, you know, I kind of doubt that this ever really happened. Like, where's the credit? The credit was supposed to be in the anniversary book, which I do have. Problem is that book is completely in Japanese, so I have not paid someone to translate that, but there is a line in this book, in the Duel Art book, that kind of supports the thought of Crow not being a signer as his original plan. So we're going to go over that. We're going to go over an early design for Rex Goodwin. We're going to go over a design for an unused, unknown girl Dark Signer. Now, I thought this was very interesting when I came across it, because this is something that I have seldom seen. I don't actually think I've ever seen or heard anyone really discuss this, that there was an original plan for a girl Dark Signer that was drawn by Kazuki Takahashi that never got used. It's an unknown character. We don't even know her name. So I'll be going over the bio that Kazuki Takahashi gave her, as well as going over her design. And then we have an unknown signer that was going to be probably a good friend of Yusei's. That got scrapped because Kaz said it did not fit the whole theme of Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds. So going to be going over a lot of secrets and behind-the-scenes stuff. And we're going to start with Yusei's early design. Now, I scanned these pictures in myself, so if they're a little blurry, I do apologize for that. So Yusei, his first design, which you can see right here on screen, he looks much rougher. His hair does not look as nearly as organized as the convoluted hair that he has as the Yusei Fudo we all know and love. But, you know, the hair is very symmetrical, Yusei's hair in the show, whereas in the early design it was just kind of, it looked more like bedhead than anything else. He looks a lot more rough around the edges. He looks a lot more street tough, and I feel like if they went with this early design for Yusei Fudo, I wonder if he would have been a bit more of an a-hole, a bit more of maybe a Jack Atlas personality kind of character early in the show. When we first see Yusei, sure, he's a very serious character, but he still has a very kind heart. He's nice to other people. It's hard to picture him being mean to people, honestly, but when I see his early design, I wonder if that was the route they were going to go with him. Early on in the show, he still goes to prison. He still gets that mark, the criminal mark on him, so that would have fit well with his early design. And yeah, I just wonder if he would have been a little bit more of an a-hole, but I definitely do like the Yusei Fudo we have now. He's one of my favoritely designed protagonists, as opposed to his early design. But really interesting that his early design does depict him as more of a rough around the edges, maybe not so nice kind of character. We have Akiza and Atlas and Luna and Leo, nothing really to note there. And then we have Crow on this page, and here is where things get really, really interesting. So Kazuki Takahashi writes, around 16 years old, convict covered with criminal marks, and this is the interesting line. He's tried to steal Yusei's Duel Runner countless times, but he always fails. Hot-blooded friend of Yusei's. So, out of all the things we know about Crow in terms of his original character portrayal, that he was originally supposed to be the boss of the Dark Signers arc, that because Blackwing sold really well, that wasn't the case, even though, of course, there have been people more recently that are going against that and say, well, until we have evidence, we maybe shouldn't believe that. That could have just been started. Here is a forum, and there's many forums like this, a post from Umbral Wisp on July 28th, 2015, way, 3 years ago. And here's one of the several plans about Crow's character, and the first line is the one we're going to be looking at. Originally, he was going to be a Team Rocket-like villain, where he appears in several episodes to try and steal Yusei's D-Wheel. This was scrapped early in development. Now, going back to the official Kazuki Takahashi statement on Crow in this book, he's tried to steal Yusei's Duel Runner countless times, but he always fails. Nowhere in Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds, as a main plot point or even as a minor plot point, I don't think it was ever mentioned, if it was, correct me on it, did Crow attempt to steal Yusei's D-Wheel. So this does further prove and give a little bit of evidence to the fact that maybe Crow, he was going to be more of an a-hole character and more of a villainous character, or more of a Team Rocket character in Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds. It doesn't really give away anything as in terms of him being a Dark Signers boss. Again, that is supposed to be in the 20th anniversary book, which I do have. I just need someone to translate it for me, and getting all the pages scanned in and paying someone to translate, it's a hassle, and I haven't really gotten around to doing it yet. But it's interesting that in this book, I wasn't really expecting to find a line like this, that this line does support one of the bunched in original plans for Crow Hogan, that he was going to be a character that would try to steal Yusei's Duel Runner. So I thought that was very, very interesting. We're going to move right along to Goodwin's early design, and when I first saw it, I was like, okay, he looks like he'd be a character in the Jak and Daxter video game. The marks on his face just make him look like a Jak and Daxter villain, and I don't really hate it. I actually like it more than Yusei's early design, and you can see more pictures of Goodwin's early design right below here. There's a few different designs, and he would still have that, dragon head arm. I do probably prefer the design that we got in present day, because I feel like when you're watching it, you don't really know that he's going to be the main boss. You don't really know that he's going to be the main evil character. If this dude strolled up early on in 5Ds, I think everyone would immediately know, okay, yeah, Rex Goodwin is a major villain, which I think we kind of all could have guessed anyway, but I think they kind of hit it. And then when he got revealed to be that person that's trying to combine the Signers and the Dark Signers during his duel against Yusei, Jak, and Crow, and he tried to take in all of the marks on his body, and he got revealed to be this really hideous person, I think that was a much more powerful scene than if he always kind of looked like, an Iliaster cult leader. So I think for simplicity's sake and for subliminal sake, going with the design they went with for Goodwin was a good idea. And now we're going to get to a girl Dark Signer. And by the way, I have barely seen anyone talk about this. I've done a Yu-Gi-Oh 5D's Things You Missed / Things You Didn't Know video. I've done a bunch of videos talking about the behind-the-scenes stuff in regards to Yu-Gi-Oh 5D's, and I have never seen anyone bring this up. And this is at the bottom left of the Yu-Gi-Oh 5D's character designs page. And at first I thought it was Carly, and it does kind of resemble Carly, but I don't think this is Carly. So the description looks like she'd be an S, but is actually a total M, the cutie of the Dark Signers. And then in the bottom left, brainwashed by the Dark Signers boss. I know the word boss is cut off, and the Dark Signers boss, of course, we can see on the same page I know a lot of people think it's Rex Goodwin, which I think so too a lot of the times, but it's actually his brother Roger. So there was no girl character that was brainwashed by Roger. In fact, I don't think Roger and Carly or Misty even really had that much interaction together. So it wasn't like we saw Roger trying to brainwash Carly, trying to brainwash Misty into joining the Dark Signers. Misty joined it willingly after she was faced with death, and then Carly was reborn as one. So none of them were necessarily brainwashed into willingly becoming a Dark Signer. We didn't really see that brainwash trope at all when it came to the Dark Signers. So this is a character that was never used. It was going to be another girl Dark Signer that was maybe replaced by Carly. I love the full-on black mask that she has on the rightmost picture out of the 4 images that we see of her, or the 5 faces that we see of her. Really love her design. Would have loved to know her name. Would have loved to know her background story. I could see maybe a big reveal if she was going to be a major character would have been her taking off the mask and being a character that maybe Jack or Yusei knew, and then it's like, how the hell are you a Dark Signer? Kind of similar to the scene we got when the Dark Signers faced the Signers and Carly ran away and Jack chased her down. Kind of similar to a scene like that. I don't know what the line looks like she'd be an S, but is actually a total M means, by the way. I've looked up, I typed in that line to Google, I tried to think of what S could stand for or what M could stand for, and I'm completely dumbfounded on what that means. It's probably very obvious, and I'm sure a bunch of you guys will comment it down below, and when you do comment it, I'll probably feel like a complete idiot, but please let me know what you think that means, because I have no idea what that means. I don't know what it means if someone is an S or an M. I've honestly never heard that terminology before, so if you have any idea what that could mean, please let me know. But yeah, really cool there. A girl Dark Signer, or maybe an early design for Carly that was never used. And then we're going to go into a page literally called Yu-Gi-Oh 5D's Unused Designs. Well, even though the girl Dark Signer was never talked about much, I have heard from a lot of people, and I have seen from a lot of people, this signer. This was going to be a signer, probably a majorly important character in the Yu-Gi-Oh 5D's anime. And Kazuki Takahashi writes, these designs for the main characters were passed over because they didn't quite fit with the overall feel of the 5D's world. And at the bottom, we see Jack, we see Akiza, we see Yusei, Leo Luna, and unfortunately we did not get a name for this unknown signer, but this would have been probably the 5th signer. I imagine it would have been Yusei, Akiza, Atlas, Leo, or probably not Leo, probably Luna and this character. A character that is interestingly missing, though, from this early sketch is Crow. Crow is not one of these characters, so again, to further state that, yeah, maybe he really wasn't supposed to be a signer. I think there's a lot of evidence there, but of course, you know, you do need maybe a little more stronger, harder evidence. But yeah, this is a really cool character. It does kind of resemble Crow a little bit, the hair. Maybe not. Maybe like the back of the hair, maybe. His face kind of reminds me a little bit of Axel. Maybe it's just the nose, Axel from GX. And you know, this was a character that was probably very close. There's also some images of his face that look a little bit like Kusanagi as well. I'm seeing a bunch of different Yu-Gi-Oh characters merged into one. There is a lot going on with his full body design. But they must have been really close to using this character because they even drew a signer dragon for him. You would imagine that that is a signer dragon in the top left corner of this page. It looks like a pretty cool dragon, and it looks like they're almost shields for his arms, so I really do like the design there. So we have an unused, most likely signer dragon. We have an unused signer that we will never know the names of either of these monsters or characters. And the reason that I'm assuming he's a signer is it looks like he has a signer mark on his left bicep, on his left shoulder. That's what it looks like. He doesn't have that mark, though, noticeably in his full designed picture. But of course, when you are a signer, your signer mark is not always present. So I'm assuming that's a signer mark, even though I'm not sure what mark it would be. It's been a while since I've seen all the signer marks, but yeah, either way, it would have been a very main character. I mean, he's part of the main crew in this image at the bottom of the page. So really interesting stuff, and I've always thought that behind the scenes of Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds, we haven't even talked about Carly in this video. I did a whole video on her. Behind the scenes of Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds and what really happened and what supposed changes actually did happen and the changes that were made is one of the most fascinating, interesting things, interesting secrets that the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise holds, and I'd really like to know, you know, a lot of stuff of what went on behind the scenes. You know, was the show really supposed to end after the Dark Signers arc? Because that's another very pressing thing that I've heard, that Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds was supposed to be over after the Dark Signers arc, after episode 64. But what's true and what's not true always remains to be seen. I try to do my best to find sources for everything, and yeah, all we can do really is speculate. But guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something new about Yu-Gi-Oh 5D's secrets and unknown facts. I don't really know what I'm going to call this video, but let me know the role that you think this unused signer may have played. Let me know if you think he probably would have played the same exact role that maybe Crow played. Let me know what role you think the unknown girl Dark Signer, I should say, would have played. Let me know what you think about Goodwin and Yusei Fudo's early designs. And yeah, let me know anything regarding Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds. Thank you again for tuning in. Special thank you to my Platinum tier patrons, Alexa Baker, Glen McGookin, Jorge Carrillo, James Rose, and Omni Lord, and to my Diamond tier patrons, Bouldergeist, Odd Eyes Vaughn, and Jesse Wood, and to my Egyptian God tier patron, Syn Cloud. Thank you to everyone who supports me on Patreon. Cannot tell you how much I truly, truly do appreciate it. And thank you to everyone who just watches my videos. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will talk to you down below. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.
探しているのなら最後まで決めたこと